Ooh, I'm Kara, and I like rom-coms.
And my name is Jared. And I like driving at night.
Ooh, but you know what we both love? That would be the natural charm of being poor.
And this is...
Just kiss already. Ooh. Boo.
I literally almost broke because I was like, this is so good that this is coming out in early September. We were 1 month away from the spooky one.
It's fine. It's fine. Ah, geez. I mean, we gotta be spooky. This is a spooky episode.
Yeah,
Very
Return of the Mac.
spooky.
It was Nikozawa.
Welcome, Black Magic Club, or just one member of the Welcome, Nekozawa.
Yeah, our resident spooky boy, more than just a throwaway character from episode 3.
We love to bring him back. We love to bring them back. We love to bring RENGE back. We love to bring everybody back.
We love to also retcon his hair and eye color.
Yes. They'd be like, haha, just kidding.
In this episode, he has to, overcome his fear to get what he wants.
That's right.
And they do it in the most blunt way possible by literally just being like, oh, you're afraid of this? We're gonna immerse you in it.
You don't like the light? We're gonna shine a flashlight
literally,
in your
and
face.
We're also gonna say evil beam while we'll do it, because we're cool like that.
We're mean.
We're not your friends.
Yeah.
So have you ever had a time where you were like, I'm scared of something, but I am just going to go deep end?
It wasn't the intention, but yes, because I do not like needles at all. I've never been like the kind of person who like wanted a lot of piercings or anything like that. Like I've always been like, needles, not for me. But then I suddenly decided that I wanted a septum piercing.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like at first I didn't decide that I wanted it. I mentioned it to somebody else being like, I think this would look good on you. And they were like, I think it would look good on you. And it like planted the seed in my head. And I remember being like, oh my God, but I can't, because like that's needle. And it's like a bigger needle than for like an ear piercing. It's like it's a spooky needle.
Yeah.
But I slowly but surely, it just like stayed in my brain and I realized I really wanted it. I bought a fake one and tried it on and I really liked it. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And this is a 14 gauge, which is, if you know, it's a thick needle. I literally sat there and I had like one of my friends was back in the room with me and I was like holding her hand in like a death grip. And I laid back and he like did the thing, found the clamps, and I was so afraid that if I moved it would like mess up and everything would be terrible. So I just like stone cold laid there, bam, piercing happens. My face is blank and there's just tears running down the side of my face.
Oh my God.
Because I'm just freaking out. And I remember the first thing that I thought when I first, like, the needle first made contact, because it was like, you know, sharp pain, needle, hurts. Yeah. My first thought was like, oh no, this is what it's going to feel like forever. This is how piercings feel. They're just constant pain.
No.
Which it went away, like, super fast, and then I had a piercing and everything was great. That's not what happened.
Holy shoot.
But I thought that, and then to make matters worse, he made a comment. He said something that was funny, and I wanted to laugh, but I was afraid that if I, like, actually laughed and moved my face, I would mess it up. So I did the laugh where you just kind of blow through your nose, and I just, blood. And he was like, well, now you're making it look worse than it is. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Oh.
But now I have a super cute septum piercing that I've had for a couple of years now. I got this done in like 2016. So I've had this baby, this little nose ring, and she looks cute. And I don't think I'm like not scared of needles anymore, but I do want, like, more, like, ear piercings.
Oh.
And I'm not as scared of the idea of them because I'm like, well, I did the nose. So, like, really, I can do anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can confirm it does look great for
Thank
our
you.
audience at home.
Thank you. Also, great thing about this one is you can't see it happen. So, like, it's not like I can look away. I can't see my nose.
Oh.
So, there was no fear of that either.
Unintended
nice.
bonus.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you? Are you, getting over your fears lately? Jumping in the deep end?
Like, I didn't think I was super afraid of heights.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've always been just kind of nervous about, like, edges or, like, you know, falling.
Yeah.
But I went to one of those indoor rock climbing places recently, and, like, they start you out on, like, the most baby, like, oh, it's your first time here? Okay, hook yourself up to the auto belay, and you're just gonna climb up half a wall.
You'll be fine.
It's, like, 10 feet maybe.
Yeah.
I was so scared, and I didn't, like, trust the auto belay.
Uh-huh.
So I climbed up, and then I climbed back down, and I was like, great, I got this. Like, I've done it.
I did
Fantastic.
it. Good job. Me?
And then immediately went to, like, the next lowest difficulty course, which was, like, 5.6, I think.
Ooh.
And
I don't know what that means at all.
it's weird. The system starts at 5.
Okay.
5.0.
Sure.
And then it goes to, like, 5.13. And you're like, maybe a 6 was in order somewhere in there. But this place only had, like, 5.6 was their lowest. So it's like they start at low intermediate, and then they go all the way to, like, hellacious.
Ooh.
But I climbed up all the way, and, like, so when you need to look down before you, like, jump off the wall, so you don't, you know,
make
kick
sure
anybody.
no one's down there.
Yeah. So it was the scariest thing in the world. I was hanging on to this wall with, like, all my limbs, and I just sort of let go with my hands, and my feet were, like, still tented up against the wall. And then I just slowly leaned back until it was like and let me down. Uh-huh. And then after that first one, I was like, great, this is fantastic. I'm having a great time. And, like, by the end of it, I was racing the friend who I went with. We would time each other on, like, the easiest wall to be like, who could do it the fast? I lost by, like, 0.9810 of a second. Like,
damn it.
Yeah, next time.
Next time.
But it was a great moment of, like, wow, as scared as I was 2 hours ago is how much fun I'm having
Everything's great now.
Yeah. I think it's rare you get, like, such an immediate confirmation of, like, wow, I have faced a fear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our fears are more abstract.
That's true. It's sometimes hard to face certain ones.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you can't really, like, if you're scared of ghosts, I don't know what to tell you. Ouija board? I don't know.
No help, chief. Or if you're scared of, like, not having the love of a family member.
I'm terrified of, I don't know, being alone in old age.
Oh, good. That's
Yikes.
That's a popular one.
Anyway, I just put a needle through my nose, and you just climb to the top of a thing, so it's fine.
Yeah. We can face all those other things if we can face those.
Yeah, exactly. This time we do have a little unconventional theory, because our main boy this episode is scared of the lights.
Yeah, and it's
a
little out there.
No.
It's a little high concept.
He's always wearing a dark cloak and a black wig for some reason. I didn't understand the point.
To quote, hide from the lightness of his own hair.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
That's funny. I just thought it was for the aesthetic.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You can't go, you gotta go full goth. You can't go just a little.
No, you gotta be full trad goth all day.
But this is goth for, like, a reason.
Yeah. Because we start with, like, a little girl who I was like, oh, this is Tamaki's sister.
She comes in and she looks suspiciously like Tamaki. You're like, obviously.
Yeah.
And then she straight up is like, Tamaki, brother. And you're like, okay.
And he's like, I think you're confused.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's not yours? Like, uh-oh. Who could it be?
Who could it be? The only other person here that has blonde hair is Honey, yet for some reason we didn't point that out.
Oh, yeah. I was being like, Honey, how about you? And then I saw he had brown eyes, and I was like, you're on thin ice.
I found it very funny that they're like, well, she did go for the only blonde person in the room. And I was like, Honey has
right
blonde hair.
He's right there.
Okay, it's fine.
What if he's, like, just secretly not a natural blonde?
Oh my god,
like...
he's wearing a wig this whole time. How did we not know?
That would be pretty funny.
But surprise, our black magic friend is actually the older brother of this adorable blonde hair, blue-eyed baby girl.
Yeah, and I never thought about it, but he does go to super rich school.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're his maiden butler, the two people who pop out from the
club
room.
Lives in a castle.
Yeah, he's like a descendant of like a Russian family.
He has like a fancy like self-portrait that's like takes up an entire space of a hallway.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
And the sister Karimi has been looking at it and being like, that's my princely brother.
Yes.
And then that clashes with the reality of him dressing in black to hide from the sun.
Though I will say I find it very funny because it's kind of noted that like this is like prophesized child who is in touch with the dark magic, blah blah blah. And why his portrait isn't also that way?
It's
like
they painted him in a dark room with night vision. Should have been a bright green painting.
Yeah.
Oh, this episode funny. Is like very like you could take some of the dialogue and be like, oh, this is Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
They're just like the darkness and the one who is prophesied.
Yeah.
The one who walks in the light. Basically, they can't be in the same room at the same time. She's afraid of the dark and he's allergic to the light. Yeah.
They mention that it's psychological, but then also it seems very physical, so we don't actually know if he can't touch the light, like,
the maid is the best character that this show has had so far. Because the maid puts all this shit out there and goes, or not. Maybe. Kinda. Like, I heard. Yeah. And they're like, oh, did they really say that? She's like, no, I made it up right now.
She gives everything, like, big names, and she's like, you like that? I just came up with that shit.
Yeah, that's just off the dome.
So,
Just completely flexing all day.
I'm practicing,
Yeah, people say I'm a writer.
Yeah. Very good. Which, another thing is that their maid and butler both have this, like, similar dark goth aesthetic. And I'm like, so you're telling me that Kirimi was not raised in a goth household? Like, how did this happen?
Hey, you put your fangs in before bed, mister. Just love this, like, Addams family. Except both the kids are blonde hair, blue-eyed. Yeah. So to help him overcome his difficulties so that he can be the big brother for his sister.
Yes.
Because Tamaki has just full-on supplanted him immediately.
Yeah, he's like, he takes a second to be like, but, you have an actual bro, whatever. But this child is so cute that he's like, screw it, I'm your big brother, I love you now, you're mine. Excellent,
I will never let you down or let you go. And your Haruhi is like, you should consider the things you say to children. Especially ones who might be emotionally vulnerable.
He's like, you should maybe think about the promises that you make. And also consider you're just kind of stepping into family right now.
Literally. And
but so it's fine.
They call on the one person they know who understands character growth.
Oh my god. Here she comes.
She's laughing like a goddamn goose for like a minute and a half.
It's like a full minute of her being like, everyone's just kind of talking in the background. It's
just slowly spinning upward. It's so good. And her method, like we mentioned earlier, is just to be like, all right, we're going to sit in a dark room and I'm going to beam you with a flashlight. And every time you say something that's not what we're going for, we're going to add it to the bad boy board. And you're not allowed to use that anymore.
He's like, I'm going to feed you lines, and those are the only thing you can say. Yeah. But I also have a mind for the romantic and not the familial. Which everyone on the sidelines is like, does this really fit with our objective? Because I don't think this makes any sense. And they're like,
what we're going for.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It is not fine, though, as it turns out.
No, it is not. It does not work.
He sees Tamaki and Karimi, like, embracing one last time, and he's like, I'm a man, I can do this. I'm a man, I can do this. And he just beams himself in the head with the flashlight, like, full force, and they're like, we've done it. He's cured. And then he goes over to Karimi, and it's doing the campfire flashlight thing.
The light underneath the chin to make your features spooky.
Just makes him even scarier, and she runs
like,
out. Oh, yeah.
And he's like, it's hopeless.
It's hopeless.
It's hopeless. It will never work. Even though you just shined a light on yourself, so maybe that could have been a sign as like, we can keep going. Like, okay, I might have messed up with the flashlight, but maybe tomorrow we'll raise the dimmer a little bit.
Yeah, a little dimmy. Some candles.
But no, that was it. That was his one chance, and it's over, which means it'll never work now.
It's especially over because she almost gets attacked by a cat.
Yes, surprise. Later. This cat is the size of her.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point that out.
Also, I watched the whole episode without taking notes, and then I go skip through and make my notes.
Yeah.
That cat is foreshadowed. They do like shots of the outside area, and you just see his fat ass moving through the brush.
I mean, like, I love a big fat cat,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Kirimi does not love a big fat cat. She is actually, in fact, very scared of cats. Another thing that the Nekozawa family is known for, worshiping cats.
Yeah, and even better, he may not be afraid of cats. He may be afraid of the light, but he is not afraid of jumping through a 2-story glass window.
He literally breaks the... And it's, like, at first, I remember the first time I watched this, my mind writes it off as a, like, they did this for haha funny dramatic effect. But we then get a shot later and the window is still broken. And I'm like, oh...
With perfect comedic timing, we cut back to just everybody watching this dramatic rescue of this man rescuing his sister from a cat.
Yeah.
And we hear the sound effect of just like a little piece of glass on the side going ting ting.
And it's
just falling down.
It's like, okay, no, yeah, that's fine. That's
Nobody
okay.
comments on it. They're all just watching the drama.
Kyoya's just writing down, like, I'll take that out of Haruhi's debt.
Gonna have to sell another one of her used teacups.
He's like, alright, Renge, I guess you're on the debt list now.
Oh, no.
Well, too bad. Yeah. She can probably pay it off.
I mean, yeah.
She'll be fine.
Haruhi's pretty much the only one who's, like, judgment-proof in this situation.
Yeah. Anyway, Big Bro swoops in, has his hero moment. He protects his sister from the big scary kitty cat. And we end on a note of, like, he hasn't changed fully. He's still who he is. However, his sister now knows that he'll always come save her when she's in trouble. And so we get a little shot of, like, he sees her and he's wearing his cloak and he's like, oh. And so he walks away. But then, she walks up behind him and we hear this noise that my translation was like sound of cloak being grabbed, but it kind of sounded like a plastic bag. But we see that she's grabbed his cloak and she's looking up at him and we're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Aww.
We get little bits of narration that's like, it doesn't matter that he doesn't look like a prince because he'll always come rescue me. And then we get the last shot of the portrait that she's been kind of like building her idea of him around.
Yes.
With Belzenef like crayon drawn onto it, which was super cute.
I was very emotional when I watched this episode, so I felt my eyes watering and I was like, yo, this one usually doesn't get me. What's going on?
That's super cool.
But yeah, I felt it was very sweet. This is a very sweet episode.
Yeah, very like you mentioned when we were a little earlier about this is a return to like the host club mission. Yes,
that's right. We've kind of gone a couple episodes exploring other things, and this is a return. They even state it like point blank. They're like, the second she walked in those club doors, she was a patron of the host club, and that means we're going to do our best to make her happy.
Yes.
And so that's super sweet. And then we get a nice, wholesome. I wrote down, aw, haha, I'm crying.
Very good.
But yeah, I it's interesting because this is an episode that sticks in my mind because, you know, it's the Black Magic member. I think it's a kind of memorable character. I think there are definitely some memorable characters in this episode, but it's not necessarily one that I think of when I think of Oron, I guess. Like, I think more of, like, you know, the beach episode and like Lobelia and like more things that we'll see down the road. But watching it again, it has the wacky highs and it also has the like sweet emotional moments as well. So
it's a very tight arc. It starts and finishes very quickly and it's satisfying.
Yeah, I think this is another thing. This is an episode that always feels longer to me, but it's just one episode. Like in my mind, it feels like it's two because I'm like, how did they resolve it so quick? But you know, also it very funny. This small child needs bedtime stories, and they've run out, and so they're reading her shoujo manga. And so my favorite thing in this whole episode is when she goes, "Yay! There's debauchery here, isn't there?"
Yeah.
Because at first she asks debauchery, and they're all just shocked. And as soon as she gets the shocked response, she's like, well, that confirms it. And then she's like, yay, debauchery!
It's so cute.
And they're just like, what is this small child? She even says, this is a reverse harem!
Yeah, she starts naming it's like baby Renge. Yeah. She's like, oh, glasses boy.
Oh, yeah.
Stoic type.
This is honestly the fastest roast we've had, I think.
It's such a theme.
We've had a lot of roasts of each individual host club member, but she did not need to think. She was like, you're the glasses boy. You're twincest. You're the bookworm.
She's literally like, yeah, I'm 6 years old and I get it. Y'all are basic.
Yeah, this was, I think, the most accurate as well as the fastest.
Yeah.
My favorite part also is that later, she's like, oh, Tamaki brother. And we have this clip of Haruhi and Kyoya looking on. And Kyoya just makes this comment that's like, I'm just concerned if Glass's character is above Big Brother.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know how to rank this.
He's like, I'm hoping that mine's the best, though.
I'm top tier.
Top tier.
I love we even get the callback later when Haruhi busts in and she's like, have you guys made any progress yet?
Oh my god.
I've been reading shoujo manga to this kid for 3 days.
I also love Haruhi. They first talk about shoujo manga and Haruhi's like, is there debauchery in shoujo? I always thought it was nice and wholesome. And then later on, after she's read all that, she's like, there is definitely debauchery in shoujo.
It's very debauched.
Haruhi's just been reading Sailor Moon, so she's like, I thought it was just magical girl, and and little does she know.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Aw, damn. So we've dealt with familial relationships on this show before. We had the father who was looking for her daughter. We've explored the twins, stuff like that. But we've never explored sibling relationship in this way. In this, they are so different that they can't even be in the same room, which was kind of interesting. Yeah,
this is such an interesting concept of, we are bringing together people as a club.
Yeah.
As opposed to, we are helping a relationship start, or we are helping people like the twins just be more comfortable.
Yeah.
This was crossing a gap in a way that we haven't seen before.
It kind of feels like in the past when we go on our host club make someone happy adventure, it's almost as if there's something that needs to be done and the emotional realizations come along on the outside.
Yes.
This small boy basically needs to tell this girl that he has a crush on her before she leaves.
Aww.
And so it's that's kind of the thing they have to do, and then along the way there's the understanding. But in this case, it's not really a one and done, we have to do this thing. It's kind of we have to physically change him or her, it seems like.
Yeah.
We have to bridge this gap between these two people. That seems kind of impossible.
It's very interesting the way you phrase that. I like, and it reminds me of thinking about it in terms of the hero's journey. What Hikaru and Kaoru want is to mess with people. What they need is to let people in.
Yeah.
What Shorts Boy wants is to
Hiro Soma.
Yeah. What Hiro Soma from Fruits Basket wants is for the girl to want to keep in touch with him. What he needs is to state his feelings clearly. Yes. And in this case, it's what the character wants and what the character needs are the same. It's a question of method, it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. I think, that's a great way to put it, because the goal is the same. It's just he's kind of got the wrong idea about how to get it. We actually see in the beginning he has the completely wrong idea, because he's I'm just really hoping that my younger sister will love the darkness. Yeah. And they're like, you idiot, you're the older one. If anyone needs to, figure it out, it should be you. Yes. But at the end of the day, we learn that neither of those approaches were the right one. He just needed to show him that he cared about her in his own way. And that's what he does. When she's in need, he comes and he helps her out. Doesn't matter if he wears a black wig and a cloak all the time. Exactly. He saved her.
It wasn't about making the two incompatible people compatible.
Yeah.
It was about showing them that they are already they wanted the same thing. She wanted her older brother and he wanted to be there with her older sister. And it was about finding out what that means for them versus trying to make a child love the darkness or bringing a man with a sun allergy to the park. So earlier we were talking and I was struggling to think about this episode in terms of what is the takeaway, because all these episodes have this great sort of
the message. Yeah.
And whether that's what
did we learn?
Yeah, what are we supposed to take away? Yeah. I was I guess risk your life. Say risk your life for something that probably wasn't that dangerous, but you care so much. Yeah. Be protective, and then I was struggling with it, and you had a much clearer articulation.
I think this initially seems like a very specific scenario.
Yes.
This like older brother, younger sister who are literally like they have opposing fears, so they can't interact because they also pertain to how much light is in the room.
Yeah.
It seems very specific, but I think if you kind of... The best way that I kind of saw, like zooming out and look at the bigger picture, this is a common theme, I think, in media in general, the idea of like wanting something or someone and thinking that you need to like change to be that, or you need to like show them that you can do something, whatever. It's a case of, I want to interact with this person, so I need to overcome my fear and be someone different and like basically redesign myself in order to do so.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't about becoming what that person wants. It was about showing them that you care about them. Showing them more of yourself that you had before, and kind of hoping that they accept it or that they like it. And I mean, luckily for these two, you know, he showed her that he cares about her and that he wants to protect her. And she was like, oh, cool, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so now we get to have this happy relationship. So I guess the takeaway is that it's not about changing yourself to fit somebody else's expectations. It's about, you know, showing them more of yourself in hopes that they will accept you. And I mean, honestly, if they don't, like, bro, get out of there.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of hard to when it's your sibling, but like, way of the road.
Emancipate,
you know?
bro.
Emancipate, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense that I couldn't really pick up on that theme because I've been such a people pleaser in the past. And, you know, you get good at being like, oh, this is the kind of jokes that this person likes, this is the kind of things that they like. And wanting somebody to, like, want to be around you, it's easy to be like, okay, well, I'm going to get into these things.
Yeah.
But I think that there's something very cool about, like, letting that go.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like, just be yourself.
Be yourself.
Because there is value in that.
Yeah.
And
this is also something that's usually framed romantically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, this is like siblings, but, you know.
Yeah, I think it was a really interesting choice to put this in the sibling context.
Yeah.
I like it very much. It's just like, it's applicable in all situations. Just always be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be your cool Addams Family self.
Continue to wear your black wig.
Yes.
And your little bells and F.
Just saunter around your house with your single candelabra.
Yes. You know how it is. So that message kind of plays like directly into, I guess, the big trope that we have this episode, which is the like training to change.
Yeah.
That's a thing. The like, oh, she loves a sports guy, I'm gonna join the basketball team. Or like, you know, I don't know. She wants me to be more stylish, therefore we're gonna have like a makeover and I'm gonna learn about whatever.
She's gonna leave the school for girls, so we all have to cross-dress.
I mean, we technically had that when we had the little hero episode, because, you know, he was like, how do I swoon? And so there was the trope of like, we're going to teach you how to be a ladies' man, when that wasn't the issue at all.
Yeah.
But I guess this one was kind of more direct because they were literally being like, we're going to shine this light on you so you won't be allergic to the sun anymore.
Yeah. I think like this trope of like training to better yourself, quote unquote, is very interesting because I feel like I remember lots of situations where it's sort of problematic.
Yeah.
Where it's usually framed as through hard work and determination, you overcome something that you've had no control over in order to win romantic love.
You know.
And when you kind of look at it, you're like, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe not cool.
I mean, to be fair, it always kind of ends in them learning that they should have been themselves from the beginning.
We all love it. We all love ourselves. You're the only one who can be you.
You're the only one who can be you.
This episode also reminded me of something that I hadn't thought about in like a long time.
Yeah.
But we have one character who lives in the darkness, cannot be in the light, and one character who lives in the light, cannot be in the darkness. And it reminded me of something that I heard of a long time ago. It was called Love Story of Sun and Moon. And it's just the idea that like there are the literal sun and the literal moon, and they never see each other except for like at dusk and dawn, but they love each other. They just can't be together.
Yeah.
And so I feel like another way to say that would be star-crossed lovers or something, but like this is a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of that like the trope way would be like just polar opposites. Like two characters who are super different from each other and they learn that they can get along, or they learn whatever it is.
The odd couple.
Yeah.
He's a pyromaniac and she's a volunteer firefighter. Yeah.
Honey is small and Maury is tall.
He's a twin and he's the other twin.
You know.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a nice warm episode.
Very nice episode. Suspiciously few Cabidons. Boy, did I put my eggs in that basket.
You did say Cabidon, didn't you? And then we immediately got into an episode that was about bringing two siblings together, huh?
I also guessed superhero, and I'm frustrated because I would have been closer if I had guessed vampire. God.
Oh man, you would have.
It's frustrating.
Isn't there anyone in the Marvel universe that is like
Blade?
Okay. Maybe DC. I don't know. We gotta span all the suit. We gotta open up our.
I would have been right if I guessed vampire 2 episodes ago because Dio was in it.
Whoops.
But for this time, for next episode, yes. I am guessing. The trope is going to be, it was all a dream.
Oh,
so we're just going to get like really
good.
Wild, wacky, out there stuff. It's going to start out like, oh no, I'm late for class. And then it's going to be like, oh, there's the twins and one of them has clown hair and your parents are there and there's a crab. Like,
ooh, okay, question. I just want to ask if you would like to open your way. I mean, I think it was always a dream. I think a common, there's the wild one. That's like the, something wacky happening, and then it's like, I was asleep. But there's also the like, we have this episode, and it's like, what we've been trying to get happens. But then we find out it didn't actually happen. Got him.
I like that. I want it to be like, there's a romantic confession, and then we wake up, and it's like, it was a dream, but it was Haruhi's dream. And she's like, I never thought about it that way. You know?
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
We can have both. It can be one or the other.
I'm allowed to do what I want. I can make as many guesses. You can't control me.
Surprisingly, this is our podcast. We get to pick.
I'm just throwing a full drawer of forks at the dartboard.
Technically, I guess if we wanted to, we could like go back and re-record so you're always right, but we don't do that because we believe in honesty.
That would be very funny.
It's like so obvious too. You can like hear the cut, and there's even like a part of us being like, "Okay, are you ready? Okay, 3, 2." So, Jaren, what do you think is gonna happen?
I think that Nekozawa is going to have a sister who can't see him. Wow, good guess.
Wow, such a good guess. You're right. Every single time, Jaren is always right.
Never fails.
Well, I guess we'll see. Will we wake up from a dream, or will we actually have it on in the next episode? Who knows?
I think you know.
Yeah, you know what? I do know.
I'm the only one who don't know.
Kara knows, but she's not gonna tell you.
Fair.
Got him.
I did get got.
All right, thank you guys so much for listening. As always, love you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Be careful of ghosts.
Yeah, for real.
Ooh. Boo.